bound, strapped, and styled. In this issue of Video Fashion News, designers look to bondage and BDSM for boldly empowering fashion. Donatella Versace incorporates harnesses and corsetry in her dangerously sexy fall runway. Then, flashback to her late brother Gianni Versace's provocative Miss S&M collection.
I think fashion is the way you express yourself, and I like to leave to the women the desire to express themselves between using my fashion. You know, I don't want to use women, I let them use me.
Joel Alvarez creates body art with his black tape project, while Stolen Garment explores fear and fantasy.
While he was working during quarantine, he was thinking about the inherent fear of masculinity and BDSM.
Step into the Video Fashion Vault for Dolce & Gabbana's Ultra Luxe S&M runway and Helmut Lang's sexy minimalist vision.
He was saying backstage that there's sort of two ways you can go. You can either sort of be tailored, or you can do kind of clothes that say, look at me.
But first, Jessica Horwell incorporates hardware into her boldly empowering London label.
All my hardware is metal, so I started making jewelry from things I got from a hardware store, so it's kind of like the part of the DNA of the brand.
All that and more on Video Fashion News.
The look's quite a sort of strong street look. So from the front, it's like a hard center parting. So it's got a bit of shine. It looks a bit sort of business-esque, you know, it's nice and chic. And then from the back, you've got that classic sort of hardware London street vibe, you know, with these kind of like rough, slightly glossy, lived-in rope braids. So it's been an interesting sort of look to come up with. I mean, the collection's awesome, like, and slightly different really from what she's done before, so it's been nice to be able to, you know, just take the direction a little bit differently than usual.
The inspiration for this collection was, well, I just feel that everybody has a little fire burning in them, and I feel that with my brand I like to embody empowerment for women, making a statement, making timeless pieces that they can whip out their wardrobe in 5 years time and still feel amazing and hand down to their kids. You know, those leather coats and everything is such a part of it. The brand is called Hardware, using actual custom hardware to create unique pieces and really embody that like sort of like luxury goods, you know what I mean? Luxury clothing is really important, and I don't know, I just want things to be as unique as possible, accessible, and make you feel as badass and as good as you possibly can. I love outerwear. Jackets are one of my favorite things ever to make. So the outerwear is definitely some of the strongest pieces, but then you can't go wrong with a really sexy little LBD. So there's a lot of really cute little back dresses, but I think the jackets are the things I'm most excited about. Metal, always. So like everything is like, yeah, all my hardware is metal. So I started making jewelry from things I got from a hardware store. So it's kind of like the part of the DNA of the brand. So yeah, there's a lot of metal on the clothing. I feel like they're music lovers. They are outspoken. They are either a girly girl or a tomboy or both. It was interesting speaking to my models, and I'm like, so you're more of a girly girl or a tomboy? They're like, I'm both. And I'm like, I really feel that like that's important to me. I'm just so passionate about what I do, and like if you buy something, I hope that you feel part of a lifestyle, and I hope that you feel amazing wearing it.
Gianni Versace is one of the world's most influential designers. In a season that's filled with sexy leathers and bare looks, Versace creates the wildest in the West.
I'm really feel free. I think it's moment for a designer to be back on the creativity. I think people is bored of beige. They want red and yellow and green and happiness. Why life is so difficult in this moment for everybody.
And everybody will stand out in Versace.
I leave the women to choose what they like. I don't like label on my fashion. I just work for women, and there is different kind of women. I think fashion is the way you express yourself, and I like to leave to the women the desire to express themselves between using my fashion. You know, I don't want to use women. I let them use me. I never can say short is enough short or enough long. Why depend on women? Each woman have to understand herself, her legs, her age, and understand what fashion is in terms of their personality. You cannot talk in general.
Because Versace is generally sexy. This season, quilted silk bombers explode all over his looks. But what stands out for fall are his leather buckles and straps.
I think I change step by step my fashion. I become a little more free, I think. That's what I like about my life today. I'm less into the business and more into the creativity. I think creativity has become important again. When you have millions of designers, they become all the same. To me, it's boring.
The never-boring, show-stopping style of Italian maestro Gianni Versace.
Gianni Versace's iconic safety pin formed an oversized archway through which 90s supermodel Shalom Harlow opened the fall 2019 Versace runway show. New generation top models, including Kaya Gerber, hit the Milan catwalk, which Donatella Versace described as a dichotomy of luxury and grunge. The runway was replete with harnessing, straps, and classic Versace hardware, including the Greek key and safety pins. Versace looked to the brand's storied relationship with acclaimed fashion photographer Richard Avedon, featuring his portraits of Donatella on t-shirts throughout the show. Harness details stood out on supermodel Stephanie Seymour's slinky finale gown. Artist Joel Alvarez made a provocative style statement on the runway with nothing but black tape. The artist uses a skin-safe tape applied directly to the body of his models. The New York show was one of many performances Alvarez does around the world for his black tape project.
이번 컬렉션의 인스퍼레이션은
The inspiration for this collection, stolen garment usually works with themes of fear and fantasy. And this time around, while he was working during quarantine, he was thinking about the inherent fear of masculinity and BDSM. So this time he's used silk that kind of ties in with the idea of masculinity and silk necktie and how that translates to body constriction and also kind of the sensual, aggressive, masculine fear. And so he used silk and denim and used prints that kind of stand in for sweat, motifs of sweat and tear in BDSM culture, practice.
아침에 산책 가는 부자 아저씨?
A wealthy man going on a jog in the morning.
우리 브랜드의 시작에 대해서 알려줬으면 좋겠는데
So he wants people to know about the beginning of the brand, which literally began from a stolen garment from a show, and that particular piece was made, had very intense handmade elements, and it went missing. And that kind of continues on, and even this season he's made a lot of handmade things that cannot be replaced, that feels almost one of a kind. And that is what he wants everyone to know about the brand.
전달해주면 좋을 것 같아요.
The dramatic staging, ultra-luxe S&M paraphernalia, and savage fur were sure signs that this Dolce & Gabbana collection was the antithesis to modesty. Their woman provocatively blazed a high-tech path to the future.
Stefano and Domenico always follow their own path, and they represent a very sexy woman who's proud of her curves, not afraid to show them, and they did that to the ultimate degree.
And the ultimate degree came in the form of Gisele Bündchen. After a long runway absence, the supremely sexy Brazilian worked it for the design duo.
She was telling me backstage how, now that since she's given up the catwalk, she pretty much lives in trainers and flip-flops. So she had to really, really practice to walk in those. She said 12 inches. I think she might have meant 12 cms. I mean, they were very, very high.
The theme and the, intense look at sexuality has always been their kind of message. So that's not so new, and I didn't think it was that shocking. I mean, I know people were shocked by the S&M thing, but, that's always been their thing, to look at the sexy woman in a different light every different season.
I thought it was quite extraordinary. It was an incredibly high-tech performance, because a lot of those fabrics, which look like plastic, were in fact wool and silk that had been treated either with metallic paint or a kind of laminated finish. I mean, even the lace had been kind of coated with this extraordinary metallic process. I mean, it's almost like taking luxury to the factory floor.
Beautifully executed clothing. I mean, unbelievable. The beading and the details and the studding.
To me, these looked like kind of, fabulous evening gowns for Hollywood stars and rock stars and Beyonce and girls who need, those kinds of dresses.
I mean, the hours of work that went into some of that beading is beyond belief. The whole thing was just sort of incredibly futuristic, future look.
I think they're so impressive the way they have pulled their marketing and their presentation and kept the quality and the craftsmanship and the tailoring of the clothes and taken it to this really pretty major global luxury brand level.
They're, sort of the J-Lo of the fashion world.
Asta Rosma presented a hardcore streetwear collection on the runway at New York Fashion Week. Chains and barbed wire details gave the runway a dangerous edge. Leather, skulls, and studs channeled a punk spirit, while corsetry and harness details brought to mind S&M style. Jackets were elevated with patches and hand painting. A dangerously sexy streetwear collection from Asta Rosma.
Helmut Lang is a fashion genius.
The unmatched creative mind of Helmut Lang had celebrity-style icons and fashion intelligentsia flocking to his spring 2001 show.
I am absolutely a wild fan of Helmut Lang. It's exciting to see what he does.
Lang softened his minimalist cut in favor of sexy summer bondage.
And when Helmut Lang does cleavage, you know that something is definitely afoot. He was saying backstage that there's sort of two ways you can go. You can either sort of be tailored, or you can do the kind of clothes that say, "Look at me." In many ways, the show was like a tribute to a liar. There were wonderful bra top dresses with a kind of ragged edge at the bottom, and it all came in punched leather or a wonderful linen or this fantastic stretch jersey, which was very similar to what a liar used to use. But the one thing he wanted to do was get away from that kind of madam look, which was too prim and proper. It was sexy.
I like the way he reveals the body. He has a way of making clothes sexy in unexpected ways. It's his own way of doing things.
Classic Lang appeared in trademark pants, tops, and suiting.
He has the most fantastic way of presenting classic garments, which when a woman puts them on, they look so new and fresh, and yet they make you feel great.
I love his treatment of pants. I love his treatment of tops where they're just like knits or tanks or things that are layered. And he doesn't reinvent himself every season, but he introduces new things.
So he'll show a new suit, but what will be great about it is the proportions are slightly changed, so it's like reinvented for the new season. They're always incredibly well made.
And he has a great sense of quality, but not fancy lady quality. It's like beautiful quality in clothes that you can wear that are subtle.
If you're going to invest in anything for next season, look out to Helmut Lang because there's going to be something there for you.
It was one of the strongest shows he's ever done.
That's a wrap on this issue of Video Fashion News. Tune in next time for another fashion experience.